This is the scenario.
We're going to be living with AI assistants.
I think about them as intelligent systems, all to get something done on your behalf.
They'll almost be kind of almost like a great teammate that you have kind of working with you on any given problem. I don't think people really today understand what that looks like and can internalize it easily, but.
And in these videos we are watching how big tech companies are beginning to make it real. When OpenAI Chief Technology Officer Mira Murati presented ChatGPT 4o, we saw an application that acted as a translator.
And every time you hear English, I want you to translate it to Italian. And if you hear Italian, I want you to translate it back to English. Is that good?
Perfetto.
As an entertainer.
Maximal emotion, like maximal expressiveness, much more than you were doing before.
Understood. Once upon a time, in a world not too different from...
And as a consultant.
Could you give me a really brief one-sentence description of what's going on in the code?
This code fetches daily weather data for a specific location and time period, smooths the temperature data using a rolling average.
And these were just a sample of the applications. One of the most attractive features for us, and that we saw in each clip, is the capability to interact with the chatbot in a more natural way compared to voice mode. You can interact or have real-time responsiveness without the 2 or 3 seconds lag that is typical of voice mode. These innovations make the interactions more natural, a feature that will be very important in the new generations of digital assistants. Digital assistants were mentioned quite often in other events before and after the OpenAI presentation. Just a day after OpenAI presented GPT-4o, Google CEO Sundar Pichai announced the new features of Gemini during the annual Google I/O event. Some of the new features also add more intelligence that make the chatbot more friendly to the user.
We're making Gemini context-aware, so it can anticipate what you're trying to do and provide more helpful suggestions in the moment. This means your phone can understand the world the way you understand it. So not just through text input, but also through sights, sounds, and spoken language. In other words, to be a more helpful assistant.
Regardless of which company launched which product, the recent and probably the future announcements unveil a path to a scenario in which digital assistants or digital agents are becoming more friendly and human-like. This is a scenario that was also depicted by Brad Lightcap, the Chief Operating Officer at OpenAI, only a week before the launch of GPT-4o. Lightcap said that he gave up trying to forecast the future for the next 4 years, but he seems to have a clear picture of what to expect in the next 10 years. Take a listen.
I think the systems that we use today will be like laughably bad. Or they are laughably bad. I think we will look back in a year and realize how laughably bad they were. The kind of turn-based, like almost kind of Oracle-like system that ChatGPT is today is really, I think we don't see it as the long-term engagement model for what these systems can do and how they're used. They're going to be used. We think that we're going to move toward a world where they're much more capable, where they're going to be capable of actually taking on more complex work. They're going to have more of a assistive relationship with users, so they'll almost be kind of almost like a great teammate that you have kind of working with you on any given problem. And that's going to be a different way of using software. I don't think people really today understand what that looks like and can internalize it easily, but I think a kid born today will look back in 10 years from now, if you want to make the 10-year prediction. And it'll be foreign to anyone born today that you can't talk to a computer the way you talk to a friend, the way that you would talk to a teammate, or the way that you would talk to a project collaborator. And I think that's a profound shift that we haven't quite grasped. The amazing thing about these systems are how multimodal they are. Like, they can reason visually, they can reason about really extraordinarily complex problems.
A computer that thinks like a person is also the vision of Google DeepMind, as illustrated by Google DeepMind CEO Denis Hassabis during the Google event.
I was captivated by the idea of a computer that could think like a person. It's ultimately why I became a programmer and studied neuroscience. I co-founded DeepMind in 2010 with the goal of one day building AGI, Artificial General Intelligence, a system that has human-level cognitive capabilities. I've always believed that if we could build this technology responsibly, its impact would be truly profound, and it could benefit humanity in incredible ways.
Around the same time of these announcements, IBM CEO also joined a group of those that believes that we will have computers with an IQ, though he agrees that the IQ will be limited.
Look, there's so many examples. So what is EQ? So why do you feel better as a patient talking to somebody like that? It's patient, it doesn't get angry, it doesn't get upset. A lot of EQ is also about replaying people's emotions back. There's enough examples where it can at least be maybe at a first or second grader level, maybe not at an adult level of EQ.
I don't know if they're going to replace culture, collaboration, and all that. That's what keeps me up at night, Sarah, to be honest.
This group of game changers will not be complete without a representative from Meta, which retained all the attention of AI developers when Meta announced Llama 3, the new version of the language model that is considered as one of the main catalysts of the development of AI applications. You can find the evidence at the link above. But language models will not be the flesh and blood of the new digital assistants. Yann LeCun, the VP and Chief AI Scientist at Meta, but also many others, don't believe in fact that LLMs are the elements that will bring human-level cognitive capabilities to machines. We have a whole video about the issues with the LLMs, and you can find it also at the link above. But here is the idea.
So we need machines that can understand the world, they can remember, they can reason, they can plan. 4 things that LLMs cannot do. Despite all the success we've had with machine learning, with AI, with deep learning, machine learning really sucks.
Despite the issues with LLMs, LeCun does see a future in which all interactions with the digital world are mediated by an AI assistant. And so, in order to operate as humans, these digital assistants also need to think like humans.
And the question we might ask is, why do we need human-level AI systems? And the answer to this is, there is a future, fairly near future actually, where every single one of our interactions with the digital world, and to some extent with each other, will be mediated by an AI assistant. We're going to be living with AI assistants. They're going to be in our smart glasses. You can already get smart glasses and talk to AI assistants through them, or other wearable devices, or your smartphone, or perhaps even other devices. And you'll just be asking questions. You're not going to go to a search engine or something. You're still going to go to social networks because that's communicating with other people. But communicating with the digital world is going to be mediated by AI assistants. And if you want those systems to operate like human assistants, they need to have human-level AI, essentially. And so, those systems will answer all the questions that we have. They will help us in our daily lives, like a human assistant, basically. They may understand our preferences and interests. And, that's why we need to really make progress in AI, and we're nowhere near this at the moment.
After listening to LeCun, the vision delivered by Sundar Pichai during Google I/O doesn't sound so original anymore, but it does reinforce the idea of the future scenario.
I think about them as intelligent systems that show reasoning, planning, and memory, are able to think multiple steps ahead, work across software and systems, all to get something done on your behalf, and most importantly, under your supervision.
Contrary to what Asabis did, Sundar Pichai never used the word AGI during his presentation, a term that is not supported by LeCun either.
I don't like the term AGI, artificial general intelligence, because human intelligence is actually very specialized. Intelligence is not a linear thing that you can measure with a single number. It's a collection of skills and an ability to learn new skills really quickly. And so no AI system, no intelligence system is general, including humans. We're actually not very good at many things, right? We can buy a €30 gadget that can beat us at chess, so obviously we're not that general.
And in fact, if you look at some of the innovations made possible by AI that were mentioned by some of these leaders at the different events, we notice that they are all quite specialized. Here is a reminder of what was presented and what we should expect.
Since then, we've built AI systems that can do an amazing range of things, from turning language and vision into action for robots, navigating complex virtual 3D environments, solving Olympiad-level maths problems, and even discovering thousands of new materials.
I think we see over the next year, couple of years, new companies building brand new products that are powered by AI. I think that is an area that not a lot of people have talked about. You know, people focus a lot on productivity, improving processes within companies, but there are a number of companies actually building products actually powered by AI, and I personally think that will be a new, generation of technology.
The one I'm most excited about is paperwork reduction. If you think about the bureaucratic delays that are there in many, many processes, not just government, but also corporate, that's sort of the whole bureaucracy. I'm most excited by, can you take that 3, 4, 5% friction out by leveraging AI behind the scenes, both for this thing? That's the positive.
As it always happens, with great advantages also come greater risks. And for IBM's CEO, there is one that is already an issue.
You said danger. I think the biggest danger is misinformation. I think a lot of the other dangers are there, but they're like maybe way out in the future. Misinformation, for which there are some techniques that have been talked about, could be there, is the danger to worry about, because that's not the people who want to follow the law. That's the people who are outside the law and now they're going to use it for misinformation.
At the annual Berkshire shareholders meeting, which also took place around the events we mentioned, Warren Buffett admitted that he doesn't know anything about AI, but he shared a personal experience that reinforces the risk of misinformation. He mentioned an AI deepfake video of him that was so good that even his wife and children could not tell the difference. He did not give details, but we know that he was referring to a fake video in which he was inviting people to send bitcoins to some unknown platform.
I mean, scamming has always been part of the American scene, but this would make me, if I was interested in investing in scamming, it's going to be the growth industry of all time, and it's enabled in a way. Now, maybe, obviously AI has potential for good things too, but I don't know how you, based on the one I saw recently, I practically would send money to myself over in some crazy country.
To conclude, we report some words of wisdom delivered by Yann LeCun during the 2024 World AI Conference in Cannes, France. Take a listen.
AI is going to basically amplify human intelligence as a whole, and the transition over the next few decades towards humanity augmented by AI may be similar to the kind of transition we've seen with the invention of the printing press, where suddenly people had access to knowledge, could read. It was worth learning to read and things like that. And regions of the world that banned the printing press for various reasons basically kind of lost influence. A good example is the Ottoman Empire that actually banned the printing press in Arabic for a couple centuries. And that was the start of their decline. So we should really not make that mistake here.